You mute yourself.
I'm always talking on mute. So you guys didn't hear what I said?
I mean, I was just trying to figure that out. Like, the cursor is moving, but no one is speaking.
Okay, so I will teach you. Do you guys want me to teach API? Because it's very crucial also. In the interview, they're going to ask you, how have you tested API? Do you know
Yeah,
the difference between SOAP and REST?
I mean, if that's possible, because Pradeep, I also wanted to ask, like, after the end of the session, do you help to make a resume?
Yes, yes. We are going to add all this in the resume, right? Yes.
So what I wanted to ask is, I already made my resume, and in my resume, there are one or two job experience where it says that, working on API,
Mm.
but the person never explained what exactly the API.
What API is. Okay, then I can teach you guys if you want. It's crucial, very important, because for let's say that data is being transacted. Let's say for this OCR application, OCR is a different software, and yours is a Pega software, right? So that team is going to extract that data, and then they will send those five things: first name, last name, dollar amount, account details, date of service, everything. And through API only, they'll send those information to Pega system. So Pega system will receive it, and they will be loading into our database. So the transaction between any third party or any different software integration will be through API only. So you need to know. They may be asking what are the different API tools that we used. So one is REST API and one is SOAP API. These are two different. You cannot say in the project I used both REST and SOAP. They'll know you're faking. It's either REST or it is SOAP. Okay, so what is the difference between these two APIs? Then how to test the APIs? For example, get method. Can you tell me the scenarios where you use the get method? Or can you tell me the scenarios where you use the post method? Can you tell me the scenarios where you use the put method? So put method is the method that I'm talking. Like, for example, for these 5 different fields, for every case we are going to have for every check it's going to be different, right? For every check, the first name, last name, amount, everything, account number, date of service, everything is going to be different. So constantly we are going to update that information in that particular API. So we are using put method because you want to modify the existing resource, and you're going to like constantly update that particular request, right? So for example, what for first name will be constantly updated, last name will be for every scan it will be updated, and then like date of service also will be updated, then dollar amount also will be updated. Every check scan, right? All this information will be constantly updated. For every request it will be updated. So once they send this information, our Pega team will be able to receive this information, and they will be able to, they'll validate from our side, we will validate, and we will be loading into our system. So that's the from back end how data is being transferred from one system to another system. This is a little bit very tech. I mean, if you don't have completely IT knowledge, I can give you an example how.
No, I understand what you mean when you said put method. Put is something, which keeps changing every time.
Correct.
That's when you use put method. And get is like let's say if you are registering into an account, that will be the time where you will use get method, because that is not something which changes every time, right? That is something, yeah, I mean, even if I want to search something on the website, that particular website, I can use the website will call get API to get that information.
Account registration here, you will be using post.
Oh, sorry, post, yes.
Anything like search functionality only, it's get method. Okay, for example, there is a map here. I'm searching like coffee shops near me, or Uber near me, or maybe like museum near me. If I search here in that app, I need a list of things. That's when that is get method. Metro shops near me, get method. Okay, Google, it will be get method, because I'm not giving in my information to the system. I'm just receiving data.
Yeah.
I need post office mean bus stops means it's get method, because see, anybody can. If I can do it, you can do it. We are not using. I mean, we're not sending any new data, right? So that is when is get. That's the difference between get and post. See here, all these search functionalities, all that will be get method. Let me take an example of when you will use post method. See here, when you get a taxi estimate from here to here, how long it will go, that is get method. Okay, but when we book, it's post method. Why?
Because we are giving our information.
Correct. You got it? See, I can search. Okay, that's get method. But when I book, it's post method, because I'm giving my information now. I want this ride, and from this time I want it. This is the amount. So book it for me. Then when I book it, then order is created. So that is post method. And booking status is like already a status is created. I'm receiving the status. That is get method. So you need to understand. Ali, you got it right. So when we give our information and there is something changed in the database and we are creating an order or something, that is post method.
Yeah, I mean, here it's like when you get a booking status, then it's get method. That I didn't understand.
This
Like
one,
first
like
time
it's
when
a case
you
is
try
already,
to,
when you book itself, a case is created. But here you're just clicking on the status and just viewing it. That's all. You're not changing your information in booking status.
okay.
You're just viewing the status. That's all, right? You're not changing anything.
So
If you want to
to
change anything, like again, if you want to like cancel it, then that is post status. I mean, post method. Let's say you booked
okay,
and then you want to cancel it. What will you do?
I book and I cancel it, then it will be post. Yeah. So basically, tax estimate says guess method. Like I'm searching a particular location, so I put that information.
Mm,
That's why it called uh, uh, get method. That's why it used get method.
mm.
Then when I booked the cab, so basically that's the post. But I didn't. When we booked the cab, we also put the information, right? No.
Correct. When you're booking, you're just making an order. So that is post method.
Okay.
So it will take some time for you to understand, but right now just understand difference between get and post. Get means you are not giving any additional information to the system. You're just using the system, using the application to view some results. Post means you are giving some extra information to the system and you are doing some kind of action. Okay, that's post. For now,
Yeah.
just understand that, and then
Yeah.
maybe while testing, you will you will be uh,
Is there any video link or something which explains it in detail, like which we can?
so most popular videos. I will just see because mm, it's not rocket science. Anybody, this is very, I mean, you can, anybody from non-IT background can use these tools. So don't worry about not knowing and depth and all. So I will share, maybe I will find something which is really interesting. Some of the, because if you get into too much technical, right, you may lose interest. Oh, this is something very confusing. I don't want to learn this. But it is easy to learn. One thing you're going to understand is what is API? API is nothing but transaction between two systems. For two systems are talking to each other, by this different kind of methods. And there are tools. It can be, you can use SOAP to use it. SOAP is a different type of tool. REST is a different type of tool. REST is very advanced, and they're going to ask you like why you're not using SOAP, why your team is using REST. They're going to ask those things. So I'll tell you the difference between SOAP and REST, why your team prefers REST API, how to test REST API. And they're asking, as a BA, if they're asking you to test also, you need to know and test all these APIs. So maybe in tomorrow's class, what I will do, since it's very crucial, so next 2 classes, I will teach you about these APIs and difference, all that, and how to test also, so that in your project, right? And in our project, in mobile banking, in credit scores check as well, like if we go to any credit scores also, we are integrating with different merchants in the back and using API only, right? When our customer wants credit cards, we receive that request, but we send those requests to in the back end to a different merchant or different agency. When our customers want some credit score, we receive that request, and in the back end we are integrating with some credit card agency to get that score also. So everywhere, if you are in IT, right, mostly in any project, you will be using this API. Internally also, within Bank of America, different team also you will be using. Also with external teams also, like external vendors, external companies also, you through API only the transaction will happen. If not API, then it is through batch processing. So let's say that nobody is using API. So what are the other ways like
But
you
I
can?
don't think batch processing, I mean, any bank uses batch processing nowadays, right?
I mean, it depends. If they have money to, I mean, they need funding to develop all that, right, to integrate with other system. So still, what is the difference between batch processing and API? Batch processing in the sense, I submit the request on a timely basis. It's not real time. For example, I get 100 credit card requests. Okay, I'll wait till 5 p.m. today and send this 100 requests to my credit card agent using a tidal job scheduler. That's the tool we use, okay, tidal job scheduler. So Bank of America will get all the 100 applications from all the customers, and they will wait till 5 p.m. They'll consolidate into as one zip file with all the information, okay, member first name, last name, and then all the address details and everything. And using the SFTP setup, they'll automate this using a tidal job. That's a tool for scheduling. So nobody's monitoring it in production. So automatically this particular tool will pick up all the requests, take all the zip file and drop into the credit card print, right? That merchant's file somewhere, they will drop there, and they will take the file, they'll process it, and they'll send the credit cards to our members. So this is batch processing. Real-time processing means if I submit now, I'm getting the results now. That will happen only through API, irrespective of whether it's SOAP or REST API, right? Real time is like if I want credit score now, I click on check credit score, I get the credit score. That is like real time. I'm not waiting for 3 days to get my credit score. So you need to understand what is the difference between batch processing and API integration. Lucia, is it too much to learn?
Yes. Can I just ask you a quick question? Because in my work, I'm just constantly like getting a credit report from the credit bureau, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say if I have 10 applications that I need the credit score, I can get the 10 like a score right away through their like a website. Is that the real time?
So who is getting it? Your system is getting it or you're manually getting it?
Our system's getting.
Okay, what is the current application that you're working on? For which company?
My company, because we do have a customer applying for the loans, so we do need to check their credit.
Okay.
But we need to get the score from the bureau.
From the bureau, right? Yeah. So if it's instant, it's API.
Okay.
Every single transaction, you're able to get the score immediately, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then it's API calls. Got it? When you click on credit score, it's giving you.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is the API integration in the backend.
That's a real time.
Real time.
Nowadays, every application uses this, right? I mean, there is no application without the API integration everywhere, like especially in banking,
Yes,
healthcare.
yes. So, but that tunnel is advanced feature. Earlier, it used to be batch processing.
Yeah, I
Nowadays,
know.
mhm.
Batch processing, I have heard that concept before. It's like a batch processing is like first come, first serve, right? It
Yeah,
goes
we'll
in sequential.
consolidate and then we have to like make sure it's zipped properly. And during transaction also, like once your files are picked up, that SFTP setup, right? That can be issues there. So your files can go, can be hiding somewhere. That can happen. And that's why it takes 3 to 4 business days to get something. So we have to like see, but I would say API integration is possible when both the systems are ready to do that integration. So credit bureau is ready to say give their APIs. Your team is ready for your because API. If any changes in one field, there is change also. Developer has to develop it. Again, we have to test it. Again, we have to do perform UAT testing. Again, we have to deploy the code. So any one single field is changing. Also, we'll be constantly changing the API. You got
Makes
not like
sense.
one time you develop and then everybody is going to use the same thing forever.
Yeah, interesting.
Right. So today I say that 5 fields needs to be sent from the check. Okay. Our developer is developing something and that the API is in production. Tomorrow a 6th field is added that needs new development.
Yeah, if it's the new field, then of course they have to
They have to
know where
configure
to
that in
deploy.
development, then push it to
Yeah.
QA, push it to UAT, then push it to production. Only then that will be available. It's not that you add a field, it will be automatically in production. People think API is like automatically it will get added. No. So
I mean, it's a bit complex thing though, right? Like you're working on a project and then you need to enhance one of the one of the. I mean, there is one of the feature you need to enhance on the. I mean, side by side while you're working on the main project.
mm,
In that case, like you go through all the process, right? Like design, dev,
mm.
testing, UAT, implementation.
Yes, that's why it's very expensive. So if I say, see here, ATMs near me, okay, I search it. It's not coming. So now it's coming. See here, it's asking for my location. I'm not willing to give. So these are the ATMs near me. Okay. So now this is get method. Now I want to add something like, for example, maybe I add a new feature in all these ATM machines. Okay, something new. Currently what
From
is open, okay, and then maybe Saturdays whichever is open it is able to say maybe add a different feature here, okay, and then those ATMs has to be shown. It will not automatically happen. There needs to be API changes in the backend.
So this is like static development, right? This is not dynamic. Like
This is
once
not
you have
dynamic.
given.
Yeah, this is static, completely static.
Yeah, okay.
You got it? So don't think API means it's very advanced. Every single time there is requirement for maybe it's automatically the fields will get updated and all. So today in OCR process, we are capturing 5 mandatory fields. Tomorrow business says that please add another field. And let's say that maybe add a middle name. Middle name, if the person is having middle name, capture the middle name. So that's a requirement. And middle name is a new field, then that is a new API change. Your developer has to add that field in the dev, then move that code to QA, move that code to UAT, again test everything with that middle name field, then everything is fine, only then we are pushing to production. So that is API changes development. So we can have an existing API connection with some, for one project we can have with maybe a different company, but for another project, if the requirements are different, we are going to have a new API change.
Yeah, but then again, if we are adding a new feature, we need to see if it is impacting on any other existing feature, right?
Correct. That is that is also crucial. For another project, if they're using that API and then something is, yeah. What you say is correct. It should not impact. You have to regress. That's why we do regression testing. Something like newly you're adding change, doing in API changes, you have to test for other markets too. Okay, sounds good. And then so tomorrow, next 2 classes, I'll focus on this API testing, and then we'll also focus on how to write use cases. And I also want you to write this use cases, right? So please write this use cases for whatever user stories that you have, and whatever you're going to add it in your project, please write one use case. Can you do that for me? Write one use case.
Yes, yes. For
Okay, for
the
whatever user story, yeah, it was assigned to you.
uh-huh.
Please write one use case and then submit it.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. I think we are good for today. Any other questions?
We'll ask tomorrow.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.